Adapted from archaic translation by W. H. D. Rouse. Jataka number 266. Vātagga-Sindhava-Jātaka. He for whose sake, etc. This story the master told at Jetavana Monastery, about a certain landowner. At Shravasti city, we learn, a handsome woman saw this man, who was also handsome, and fell in love. The passion within her was like a fire burning her body through and through. She lost her senses, both of body and of mind. She cared nothing for food. She only lay down hugging the frame of the bedstead. Her friends and maidservants asked her what troubled her at heart that she lay hugging the bedstead. What was the matter, they wished to know. The first few times she answered nothing. But as they continued pressing her, she told them what it was. "Don't worry," said they, "we'll bring him to you." And they went and had a talk with the man. At first he refused, but by their much asking he at last consented. They got his promise to come at a certain hour on a fixed day, and told the woman. She prepared her chamber, and dressed herself in her finery, and sat on the bed waiting until he came. He sat down beside her. Then a thought came into her mind. If I accept his addresses at once, and make myself cheap, my pride will be humbled. To let him have his will the very first day he comes would be out of place. I will be capricious today, and afterwards I will give way. So no sooner had he touched her, and begun to dally, she caught his hands, and spoke roughly to him, asking him to go away, as she did not want him. He recoiled back angrily, and went off home. When the women found out what she had done, and that the man had gone off, they rebuked her. "Here you are," they said, "in love with somebody, and lie down refusing to take nourishment. We had great difficulty in persuading the man, but at last we bring him. And then you'll have nothing to say to him." She told them why it was, and they went off, warning her that she would get talked about. The man never even came to look at her again. When she found she had lost him, she would take no nourishment, and soon died. When the man heard of her death, he took a quantity of flowers, scents, and perfumes, and went to Jetavana Monastery, where he saluted the master and sat on one side. The master asked him, "How is it, lay disciple, that we never see you here?" He told him the whole story, adding that he had avoided waiting on the Buddha all this time for shame. Said the master, "Layman, on this occasion the woman sent for you through her passion, and then would have nothing to do with you and sent you away angry. And just so in olden days, she fell in love with wise persons, sent for them, and when they came refused to have anything to do with them, and thus plagued them and sent him to the right about." Then at his request the master told an old world tale. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the bodhisattva was a Sindh horse, and they called him swift as the wind. And he was the king's horse of ceremony. The grooms used to take him to bathe in the Ganges. There a certain she-ass saw him, and fell in love. Trembling with passion, she neither ate grass nor drank water, but weakened and became thin, until she was nothing but skin and bone. Then a young animal of hers, seeing her weakening away, said, "Why do you eat no grass, mother, and drink no water? And why do you wither away, and lie trembling in this place or that? What is the matter?" She would not say, but after he had asked again and again, she told him the matter. Then her young animal comforted her, saying, "Mother, do not be troubled. I will bring him to you." So when swift as the wind went down to bathe, the young animal said, approaching him, "Sir, my mother is in love with you. She takes no food, and she is weakening away to death. Give her life." "Good, my boy, I will," said the horse. "When my bath is over, the grooms let me go for some time to exercise on the river bank. Do you bring your mother to that place." So the young animal fetched his mother, and turned her loose in the place. Then he hid himself hard by. The groom let swift as the wind go for a run. He saw the she-ass, and came up to her. Now when the horse came up and began to sniff at her, thought the ass to herself, if I make myself cheap, and let him have his way as soon as he has come here, my honor and pride will perish. I must make as though I did not wish it. So she gave him a kick on the lower jaw, and ran away. It broke his jaw, and half killed him. What does she matter to me? Thought swift as the wind. He felt ashamed and made off. Then the ass repented, and lay down on the spot in grief. And her son the young animal came up, and asked her a question in the following lines. He for whose sake you thin and yellow grew, and would not eat a bite, that dear beloved one is come to you. Why do you take to flight? Hearing her son's voice, the ass repeated the second verse. If at the very first, when by her side he stands, without delay a woman yields, all humbled is her pride. Therefore I ran away. In these words she explained the feminine nature to her son. The master, in his perfect wisdom, repeated the third stanza. If she refuse a suitor nobly born who by her side would stay, as Kundali mourned windswift, she must mourn for many a long day. When this discourse was ended, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. At the conclusion of the truths, this landowner entered on the fruit of the first path. This woman was the she-ass, and I was swift as the wind. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by W. H. D. Rouse. Jataka number 267. Kakkatā-Jātaka. Gold-clawed creature, etc. This story the master told while living at Jetavana Monastery, about a certain woman. We are told that a certain landowner of Shravasti city, with his wife, was on a journey into the country for the purpose of collecting debts, when he fell among robbers. Now the wife was very beautiful and charming. The robber chief was so taken by her that he purposed killing the husband to get her. But the woman was good and virtuous, a devoted wife. She fell at the robber's feet, crying, "My lord, if you kill my husband for love of me, I will take poison, or stop my breath, and kill myself too. With you I will not go. Do not kill my husband uselessly." In this way she begged him off. They both got back safe to Shravasti city. Then it occurred to them as they passed the monastery in Jetavana Monastery, that they would visit it and salute the master. So to the perfumed cell they went, and after salutation sat down on one side. The master asked them where they had been. "To collect our debts," they replied. "Did your journey pass off without mishap?" He asked next. "We were captured by robbers on the way," said the husband, "and the chief wanted to murder me. But my wife here begged me off, and I owe my life to her." Then said the master, "You are not the only one, layman, whose life she has saved. In days of past she saved the lives of other wise men." And then at his request the master told an old-world tale. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, there was a great lake in Himalaya, in which was a great golden crab. Because he lived there, the place was known as the Crab Lake. The crab was very large, as big round as a threshing floor. It would catch elephants, and kill and eat them. And from fear of it the elephants dared not to go down and graze there. Now the bodhisattva was conceived by the mate of an elephant, the leader of a herd, living hard by this crab lake. The mother, in order to be safe till her delivery, looked for another place on a mountain, and there she was delivered of a son, who in due time grew to years of wisdom, and was great and mighty, and prospered, and he was like a purple mountain of collyrium. He chose another elephant for his mate, and he resolved to catch this crab. So with his mate and his mother, he searched out the elephant herd, and finding his father, proposed to go and catch the crab. "You will not be able to do that, my son," said he. But he begged the father again and again to give him leave, until at last he said, "Well, you may try." So the young elephant collected all the elephants beside the crab lake, and led them close by the lake. Does the crab catch them when they go down, or while they are feeding, or when they come up again? They replied, when the beasts come up again. Well then, said he, do you all go down to the lake and eat whatever you see, and come up first. I will follow last behind you. And so they did. Then the crab, seeing the bodhisattva coming up last, caught his feet tight in his claw, like a smith who seizes a lump of iron in a huge pair of tongs. The bodhisattva's mate did not leave him, but stood there close by him. The bodhisattva pulled at the crab, but could not make him budge. Then the crab pulled, and brought him towards himself. At this in deadly fear the elephant roared and roared. Hearing which all the other elephants, in deadly terror, ran off trumpeting, and dropping excrement. Even his mate could not stand, but began to make off. Then to tell her how he was held a prisoner, he uttered the first stanza, hoping to stay her from her flight. Gold-clawed creature with projecting eyes, lake-bred, hairless, clad in bony shell, he has caught me. Hear my woeful cries. Mate, don't leave me, for you love me well. Then his mate turned round, and repeated the second stanza to his comfort. Leave you? Never, never will I go, noble husband, with your years threescore. All 4 quarters of the earth can show none so dear as you have been of past. This way she encouraged him. And saying, Noble sir, now I will talk to the crab a while to make him let you go, she addressed the crab in the 3rd stanza. Of all the crabs that in the sea, Ganges, or Nabudha be, you are best and chief, I know. Hear me, let my husband go. As she spoke thus, the crab's fancy was overcome with the sound of the female voice, and forgetting all fear he untied his claws from the elephant's leg, and suspected nothing of what he would do when he was set free. Then the elephant lifted his foot, and stepped upon the crab's back. And at once his eyes startled out. The elephant shouted the joy cry. Up ran the other elephants all, pulled the crab along and set him upon the ground, and trampled him to mincemeat. His 2 claws broken from his body lay apart. And this crab lake, being near the Ganges, when there was a flood in the Ganges, was filled with Ganges water. When the water subsided it ran from the lake into the Ganges. Then these 2 claws were lifted and floated along the Ganges. One of them reached the sea, the other was found by the 10 royal brothers while playing in the water, and they took it and made of it the little drum called a naka. The Titans found that which reached the sea, and made it into the drum called alambara. These afterwards being defeated in battle with Sakka, ran off and left it behind. Then Sakka caused it to be kept for his own use. And it is of this they say, there is thunder like the alambara cloud. When this discourse was ended, the master explained the truths, and identified the birth. At the conclusion of the truths both husband and wife attained the fruit of the first path. In those days, this lay sister was the she-elephant, and I myself was her mate.